Our composition is way off. We're missing the eye line. Rule of thirds. We're hard against this background. This is just obviously a huge distraction. Eye line is way off camera. Let's fix this. How to get your self-tapes from looking like this to this with these simple tips. This video is something I've been meaning to make for such a very, very long time. A lot of the clients that I'm helping coach online for major television series and or feature films, we're often using Zoom as a way for me to read with them. So I'm gonna dive straight into this and give you guys my 3 top rules for all self-tapes. No matter what level you are, no matter where you are in your career, if you don't understand these 3 rules, you're gonna be doing yourself a disservice. I need to see you, I need to hear you with little to no distractions as possible. Let's understand why the distractions can be such a problem from the onset. I've been on the back end of both production and casting. My wife's cast a couple of things now, as well as some of my great friends have been in the casting industry. Imagine you're sitting at a desk for 8 to 10 hours a day, trying to be the best casting director in the world and watching every lovely actor's self-tapes. When one actor comes on and the sound's way too heavy and way too bright, and the next one comes on, the sound isn't enough, yeah? Because by the end of these long ass days, their attention span is like a little puppy dog. Anything that can distract will distract. Let's dive into the distractions. There's many of them. Number 1 major distraction is your reader. Sorry, mom, dad, and roommate, but I may be rehiring you for someone else. Now, Zoom is a fantastic opportunity and way to work with other actors. Now, this may seem so obvious, but
love and a bit with a dog. That's what they want.
You should be acting with another actor. Acting's really hard, especially when you're acting opposite someone who may be a little bit frustrating, who may not know what you're actually trying to do. I've tried to self-tape with my dad many, many moons ago.
Oh, really? Where did you dust those off from?
And it almost ended in chaos. So we want to make sure that you're prioritizing your performance. The best way to do this is to work with another actor, someone to actually feed off, right? How to actually set up a Zoom in your self-tape so you can have them in all the eye levels and blah, 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 without adding more distractions to it. Number 2, camera in weird angles and or weird composition. I actually worked behind the camera in Australia for a couple of casting director workshops at my old school that I was at, and literally every single time someone stood in front of the camera, they would complain about the composition of the shot. Now, I was studying cinematography at the time, so I was pretty confident with it, but these minor little details and where too much headroom, not enough headroom, right? These things can be really distracting and just ever so slightly rub us in the wrong way. So just really understanding basic thing of composition, rule of thirds. And the third one is eye lines. Now, unanimously across the board, all casting directors actually seem to be on the same page for this one. We want to come into your performance. This camera that is in front of you wants to connect with you. We want to see your thoughts, especially when it is film and television. An eye line out here is not going to help us connect to you guys. Bringing your eye line somewhere very close to just the side of the camera is really going to help us see your performance. If you've ever seen the Michael Caine video, he actually even goes a step further and says his left eye to their right eye, so it's actually as close to camera as possible.
Your eye there, which brings my face, you can see. If I look with this eye at that eye, look what you get.
And you see the full face versus the right eye to their left eye, and I'm just ever so closing off my face. Now that going a little bit step far, because for myself as an actor for a period of time, then that's all I could think about was which eye I was looking at, but just know, get your reader nice and close to the camera so that we can capture your whole performance. Now the final distraction is probably the most obvious, and in a lot of casting briefs they talk about it now. They ask you to film in a similar setup like this on a plane background. Now, the tendency or the worry for a lot of us, and you might have seen self-tapes online where people are filming on those blue screens to try and make themselves look a little bit more professional. I don't mind those things. It is just another step in the process and the setup, and those things are a little bit expensive and kind of a little bit annoying to set up and set down, right? As I said before, we want your focus to be on your performance and not just setting up all of these things. This wants to become like second nature to you guys. You get an audition, you go, great, grab your lights, set up, hopefully within 5 to 10 minutes, ready to go. White walls are totally fine. The number one thing that I would say, and we'll go into this in a little bit as well, but get yourself away from that backdrop. As you would have seen in our opening image with Paris standing hard against the back wall, it generally puts the lights and you at the same level. Now, Paris has a lovely tan. For me, I'm a little bit whiter than Paris. So when I am white skin on a white wall, it tends to sort of wash me out. We want to make sure that the audience, the casting directors, the agents, whoever we're auditioning for, we want to make sure that they're looking at us. And that's why separating yourself from the back wall just a little bit will help really level up your self-tapes. Coming back to our other first two rules, I think the best way to showcase this is by showing you 3 different scenarios that you may be in yourself. So scenario number 1, either you're a first-time actor with no equipment and you've gotten your first audition and opportunity, or number 2, you're an actor, haven't had an audition in maybe weeks or months or years. You decide to book a holiday, and as you get to your holiday destination, that's when the big audition comes in. You've traveled without any of your equipment and you need to think on your feet. But in both of these scenarios, you've probably got no gear, but no problems. I'm here to help. Let's dive in. Hack number 1, simple coffee cup. If you've ever put your phone up against something and it slid forward, slid backwards, or you've got this like weird angle going on, coffee cup, couple slits, makes it perfectly level. Obviously, if you cut it the right way. I've screwed this up the first time. Something nice and stable to rest your phone in. No slips, no slides, easy to see the back. Good to go. Number 2, an elastic band and a broom. So again, this is our makeshift tripod. If we wrap the elastic band around the phone, back around the broom, back around the phone, now we have another little stable surface. Even pop this on a chair with a bag up against it and you have the perfect height tripod. As we were saying before, one of the distractions being an angle composition. This gets the camera up nicely at your eye height. Very convenient. Number 3, going back to rules number 1 and number 2. I need to see you, I need to hear you. Yeah, so we want a location scout. You don't want to be filming right next to a major freeway. So maybe if the holiday location or your house is on a major road, filming in another room in the house is really important, getting away from that noise, as well as natural light. So opening windows and lamps are your best friend here, right? Now, lights do have kind of 2 different light temperatures, which is it's either blue like natural daylight or warm and kind of yellow like those lamps that you have in the room. You don't want to mix these too much if you're first getting started with this, but get as much light into that room as possible. Now, this brings us to the final thing, which is our background. Now, at the end of the day, if you tell your agent and or manager, or it's your first ever tape and it's kind of a spur of the moment thing, people are pretty forgiving. Backgrounds tend to be the thing that I'm kind of like least important on in this scenario, because I would much prefer to see and hear you rather than having one little distraction in the background. Editor Rob here. I just thought I'd make a quick note of this and show you guys a quick example. I'm talking mostly narrative content, not necessarily commercial content. I was recently away on a holiday myself in Park City, Utah, in which I got a commercial audition, and I'll show you a quick example of this. Plenty of distractions in the background, but the commercial called for us to be using utensils and whatnot, so rather than trying to shoot it on a neutral background, I just used the kitchen. So this is another example of there are no rules. I mean, self-tape is wild, wild west. So just, you know, using your best judgment at times, and you do really get a sense of it. Talk to your agents, talk to your managers, blah, blah, blah. Let's level up. Now, whenever we get to this level, people often ask me, what should I be purchasing to make this a little bit easier and to make my quality a lot bit higher, right? So my number one tip for this is lights. Purchase some basic lights. Now, the number one purchase that people often make is a ring light. Now, if you've already done that, don't stress. But one of the distractions that casting have recently started to complain about is ring lights. Now, what it does is it adds like this little ring into your eye. It's also called like a beauty light, and just sometimes it feels a little bit fake. It feels a little bit fabricated, especially for narrative work. We want you looking as much like you as possible, especially in your self-tapes. We see you in a self-tape, we hope that same person walks into the room for the callback or hopefully onto set. So let's have a quick look. I'm gonna bring in my backlight in for some examples. These little light stands come with almost any light purchase that you actually make. Super handy, super versatile for a number of different things. The ring light itself in this scenario is sitting up on this one. This is a really weird old one and the light's probably looking horrible right now. Let me fix that real quick. Might be looking a little bit better, right? So I've got this light here in front of me. Maybe I'm getting a little bit of the circle around my eyes. Baking paper is the hack here if you've already purchased a ring light. The baking paper will just soften, diffuse, and just allow this more natural light to come and hit your face. The next thing from here, I'm using these two tiny little Neewer LED tubes that I highly, highly recommend. These have actually replaced my big LED lighting panels purely because they're battery powered, super simple to set up, and again, we can get into the acting work. All right, time to step it up one final notch. This is how we make your self-tapes look like a professional. Download the Blackmagic camera app. The main tool that I want you to have a look at in here is using the white balance. We're gonna also start to incorporate a 3-point lighting technique here. So if you bought the two little LEDs I recommended, or you might even just have a little LED on top of your camera or your old ring light, grab another light and we're gonna start to play with some color contrast and what we call complementary color. We'll have 1, 2, maybe one on the top. Set these colors of these lights to 3200 Kelvin. This backlight to a 5500 Kelvin. Sometimes on these lights, I'll call them warm or cool, right? You'll have a warm or a cool option. Set this one to cool, these ones to warm. Warm is much better on the skin, far more flattering for your beautiful face. Also set on the Blackmagic camera app your white balance to 3200. This will allow this light to kind of be a little bit blue, and this just gives us what we call complementary colors. Very common technique used in a lot of cinema called the teal and orange look, and we're just giving a little kiss of that.
That's a stupid lie.
This will really make your self-tapes stand out from the others. Now, the final thing that I didn't actually mention was audio. Smartphones are actually pretty good at capturing sounds, especially if you're using the native lens in your camera, which I do recommend is the 24 one. If you go into your video, it's your standard. And the further away sound gets really bad, the further away it gets. The other thing on the Blackmagic camera app, you can actually control which microphone your phone uses. Microphones on smartphones, you have 1, 2, and 3. So obviously you want the microphone that is coming towards you, not from the other sources. Now, if you have purchased a DSLR and thought that you might be able to get away using the internal microphone, I am sorry, I do have some bad news for you. You will have to purchase an additional microphone. The good news is it's not too expensive, generally under $100 where you are.
the Rode Video Mic 2 or Rode Video Mic Go 2. I don't know, Rode. I'll link it in the description below. Fantastic little mic. And definitely going to level up your sound quality, whether you're on a DSLR, and also does level up your smartphone. All right, so let me show you some behind the scenes of what a self-tape with a Zoom reader might actually look like. So as we can see, hello Paris. Thank you so much for your help. So we've got our camera. Now, obviously we were talking about smartphones. This is where your smartphone would be, potentially on your broom if you're really self-rigging it. But hopefully we have a tripod and or stand by this stage. And we've also got our computer. This computer is stacked up on two little sort of like TV, telly, side table things. I'm a workaholic, so I actually work off the couch sometimes with my laptop. And then just a little laptop stand's getting me, again, nice and eye level, my camera and my reader at the same level, so my eye line's nice and close to the camera. And most importantly, the camera can hear my reader over Zoom. That's probably the major thing or the major letdown if you've got a person over Zoom reading with you, is that the camera isn't picking it up. Another kind of little hack would also to be record through the computer just in case you needed to add that sound in later on post. But we're up high, our eye line's good, we're able to act with another actor. Everyone can see, hear, and we get our beautiful performance that books us the role. One other thing that I may not have mentioned, if obviously you don't have a computer stand or these things here, yeah? We could use a chair, a box, some books, our beautiful little cup, makeshift cup that we had before, right? So if I had an iPhone, computer could be stacked up here. Another iPhone, most of the time if you're traveling, your partner has an iPhone, you can use one to record yourself and one for the reader. Have these things ready to go before you jump on Zoom.
But I don't know what I was thinking. I can't leave you without mentioning storage, frame rates, and resolutions. For storage, make sure that you have enough space. A couple of gigabytes, good, but make sure you have this storage space before you start filming. Nothing worse than having a great final take and all of a sudden your phone stops recording because you've hit your recording limit. Resolutions, just keep it to 1920 by 1080, otherwise known as Full HD. You do not need 4K. I repeat, you do not need 4K. And for frame rates, keep it super simple. Keep them low, 25, 24, or even 30 frames per second. This will actually allow your sensor to get more light into it, as well as these are your natural frame rates. Do not shoot in 60 frames per second. Remember guys, it is you versus you. Will the you today be able to outperform and outpresent the you of yesterday? So if you're incrementally getting better, then that is the major thing. Hope this has been helpful. I'm Robbie Rye from After. I'll see you in the next video. That was weird again. But I'm weird, guys.
Like
Weird.
and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Paris told me to like. Paris told me to like and subscribe.
Any other videos you want to see?
And comment below if you have any other videos to see. Want to see. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good.